Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, so we're here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. I'm Bradley, joined as ever by the sunshine that is Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm surviving, which is the best I can say at the moment.
Depending on how I refer to you as sunshine, that can either be a really positive thing or quite threatening, can't it?
It can be, yeah. All right, sunshine.
Right, sunshine.
Yeah, can be a little bit.
I don't know, I was thinking we'd be a crap gangster film.
It probably would, yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're cut out to be gangsters, to be quite honest with you.
I'll be sitting there like, do you know why the boss wants to see you? And I'll be like, no. He did tell me, but yeah.
Which one's the boss? Yeah. I can't remember.
Why are you differing? Is it a threatening technique? Yes, I'm sure it is.
ADHD Gangster.
I'm a big tough brute.
It'd be pretty good to see that, actually. You could make a good film out of that, I reckon.
Essex Boys done with ADHD pansexuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it would.
Get on that guy, Richie.
Yeah.
So before we move on to games, just very quickly, as a sort of like, I suppose, a bit of a mental health thing this comes under. But the government not just the government, but all the parties that want power, decided that, do you know the way to get power? Let's go after disabled people. Now, because they're doing their bit with foreign nationals and people that come into the country and whatever they're doing with that anyway. But yeah, they're going after disabled again because now you've got the idea of they want to take the Motability scheme away from many disabled people if it's mental health conditions, and try to really narrow the pot of what it is because of what there's a range of cars available on the Motability scheme. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know. So if you're on the higher rate of PIP, so you get the higher daily living allowance, you get the higher mobility rate. If you're on the higher mobility rate, you qualify for a Motability car, which means instead of getting the higher rate in cash money, it basically goes to paying for a car. Leasing a car, not paying for a car. You don't get to keep the car, leasing a car. Now, that can range anything from a basic Peugeot or Kia or something like that, up to something a bit more luxury. So we've got, like, for example, we have an MG HS, which is an SUV type car, which will fit my wheelchair in. It allows me to fit my leg in without taking it off, on and off constantly. All bits like that. So an SUV is ideal. You can get things like BMWs and slightly more luxury cars. Now, to get the car we got, it was a £750 deposit, but you get that as a first-time bonus type thing, so we didn't have to pay a deposit. But some cars could be £750, £1,400, £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 deposit. So if you want like a BMW, you still got to put down a hefty deposit. But what they're making it out to be like is that everyone's driving around in fancy BMWs who's on Motability and using that as the way to get the general public angry. And yeah, getting the support for taking away something that is vital for people with disabilities to be able to get on with their life. Now, I can't work. I'm medically retired. This last 8 weeks, if I was somebody who was working, I'd been able to work 1 week at a push out of the 8. No one's going to keep me in a job if I can only do 1 week out of 8 because of issues I've been having. But other people who have maybe more stable disabilities, or they've had it enough time and they've come to terms with it, or it's a disability that still allows them to work, need those cars to get around. And it actually doesn't cost us as taxpayers, the government or anything, any extra money for supplying cars to disabled people. Because if you take that away, most of the second-hand market is actually ex-Motability cars, or a large portion of it is ex-Motability cars. So what will happen is you take away the the benefit of the car on the Motability for disabled people, all of a sudden there's less second-hand cars on the market, that kind of thing. So the second-hand market pushes prices up. There's less cars being made. So jobs start to go because the jobs aren't needed. All of a sudden, what you're doing is if you start taking, there's much more detail on this, you start taking away disability benefits in this way that stop disabled people being able to live their lives, making it just that little bit, not easier, but making it on a par with an able-bodied person. You start taking that away, it's actually going to affect everyone else's life in a negative way. But for whatever reason, those that want to get into power are in power, just want to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and treat disabled people and demonise them, because if you're disabled, it seems to be you've got to exist, you can't live. And it's a really scary rhetoric that's going on at the moment. And that's just the Motability side of things. There's so many other things they're trying to take away that would cover an entire episode. But it's depressing, Stu.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. And it's one of those things like it just takes it. It's a knee-jerk reaction to something that is part of a right-wing agenda, because, you know, it doesn't benefit the people or the economy in any way. It's just a scapegoat issue. You know, it's in fact it's a positive benefit to the economy, because there's always criticism of people who are disabled not contributing. But how do you make people contribute? Well, you give them access to the things that they need to be able to contribute. And not that I agree that people have to contribute. I don't actually believe that. You know, I think people should be able to contribute if they want to, and given the tools to do that. But they shouldn't be forced to. But even if you feel they should be forced to, this helps with that. So it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous scapegoat thing, and it's pathetic, basically.
Yeah, and, you know, it just seems to be you can see what's happening. It's all to protect, because a lot more people now are starting to realise it's the billionaires. Let's actually, you know, let's tax the billionaires.
Yeah.
So it's deflection techniques. And I saw someone describe that the best analogy for the modern world and what the governments and the billionaires are wanting to do is the movie Ants.
Yeah.
Where they're going, oh, it's just one aim. What can they do? And the ant literally describes it. I think it's Christopher Walken, who voices it. But no, not Dennis Hopper. Sorry, not Christopher Walken. That'd be a totally different film to watch. But starts actually describing, yes, but one aim, if you allow them to mobilise, can turn into 5 ants, can turn into an entire colony. And then if the entire colony realise what they can do, they can overpower us. And it's just like the perfect analogy in this kids' film for what our world currently is. And you can see the playbook. They are literally being the grasshoppers at the moment, while we're the ants who are starting to mobilise. And I'm just hoping we all realise it.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be doing anything I can. Not much, but I will. And yeah.
And there's your daily dose of ants is a allegory for real life.
It sure is.
Talking of ants, it's a decent film. However, do you know what it wasn't very good at?
What was that?
It wasn't a very good video game, Stu.
Was it not? I didn't play the video game,
really
luckily.
Bad. I think I played it on PlayStation 1. It wasn't very good at all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, video games, Stu.
What are you playing?
Absolutely nothing. Well, no, I have. I've been playing quite a lot, but I've not played anything for review. Well, I've kind of played anything for review. I'm not articulating this very well, am I?
I just don't want to talk to you.
I don't blame you. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Tormented Souls 2, which is a Resident Evil alike, but I've not had enough time on it to review it. And I've also been playing Cronos The New Dawn, which I played a lot of. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. Not worth talking about more than I did on last week's podcast, only to say that all of my criticisms of it were absolutely right. And I had a look at the review sort of consensus, and most of them agreed. And main points being that the areas are too confined, your weaponry is too weak, and therefore harms the experience. So what I did was I I put on Cheat Engine, which I've not used for years. But I've got no qualms about using it if I feel the game needs it.
Yeah. You paid for it, so...
Yeah, exactly. And, change the levels, change what's available to me. Basically got rid of ammo scarcity, which made it just totally unfun. Listen to last week's show if you want to hear about the specifics. But yeah, I just tweaked it like that, and it's become a really good game. And it shows some games just live or die based on whether you get the difficulty level right and whether you get the frustration level wrong. And taking away the worst frustrations of it still makes it a good game, but much more approachable and accessible. And so I've been really enjoying it since that.
No, really cool. It's good to hear. I listened to last week's, and it's and sort of like listening to sort of like stuff you've been playing and everything. And it's I think a couple of games I'm not particularly interested in, but again, I love the passion and sort of like you get this week. So sort of what I'd like to see more games with these like cheat engine type stuff built in.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a single player game, build it in. Give people the tools.
Yeah.
If you've not made it with the initial game, but someone's able to do something, put it in. Find out how, get it, put it in. Because, once the people have bought your game, let them do as is with it. If they break it, that's on them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I've said it a million times. We're still stuck in that mentality of, we're in the arcade and you're going to pay for anything that you're going to access, you've got to pay for. And it's the same philosophy, even though you don't actually pay. Well, you can with DLC in some regards, but it's still that mentality of you're here to be punished. Yeah, you're not just challenged, but punished. And there's such a fine line between it being a challenge and it being punishment. And you can just erase that line by having accessibility options that let you tweak it. So yeah, I agree.
The irony being, people are more likely to buy your game if they can play it as they want, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, it's a weird one. Actually talking about people adding things after the fact, I'm going to praise Ubisoft.
What?
I know. As we all know, Ubisoft have actually been quite at the forefront of accessibility options and stuff like that. So for all their bad and everything that we know about them, to actually like we always know with stuff with accessibility. But what they've also started doing is actually seemingly listening to the fans. So recently they patched an offline mode for the Crew 2, learning from their mistakes of delisting the Crew 1. When it was basically not being played, they delisted it and it could no longer be played. Obviously, the community have gone in and they've got we'll sort that, don't worry. So you can technically now play the Crew 1 offline if you know what you're doing. It's a ball ache, you can't do it on Steam Deck, unfortunately, because it's not Linux compatible. What they've done, the Crew 2, even though it's not supported on Steam Deck, they've added an offline mode now. So they've said, like, when we do pull the servers, you can now still play this game if you own it. Kudos Ubisoft. But it also seems like they've started to realise the importance of the Steam Deck. And we said right at the very start, the Steam Deck will be a game changer in many ways. And a couple of people went, yeah, I'm not sure it will be. It's a niche device. And we're seeing now how much of a game changer it is. Because Ubisoft specifically have made their latest Crew, the Crew Motorfest, which is now into its third year, Steam Deck compatible. It's now verified on Steam Deck, because they've done some stuff with BattlEye and some other bits and stuff like that makes it fully playable on Steam Deck. And that is also getting the aforementioned offline patch, so that when they decide eventually to make whatever is next or take this offline, you can still play it. And because they've removed the BattlEye things, and you can now play it totally offline as well, down the line, it's now verified for Steam Deck. It runs well. It's, on medium to low settings and everything, and it looks absolutely fine. But by people going, this isn't good enough, this isn't good enough, this isn't good enough, all of a sudden they're listening and they're making their actions. Now, it still doesn't forgive everything that Ubisoft have done in the past. And it's one of those games that was picked up for me rather than me picking up, and I still won't buy new Ubisoft stuff myself, but I'm not going to stop everyone else doing it. But as a company, it looks like they're trying to be better. And you've got to give them a little bit of kudos for that, which is just, it's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, we're so used to companies just doubling down when they've made a decision and not, adjusting to the market or to the fans or whatever. But it's nice that they've done this in response to, the absolute uproar that the crew brought about. And it wasn't just that, but it was also, that was one of the sort of cornerstones of the movement to make games playable after their supposed death, wasn't it? And, they've at least responded to it. And while it's not going to really change them fundamentally, it's a decent step in the right direction, like you say.
Yeah, totally. More of that. Let's see EAE do that. Let's see Activision do that. Let's see the big companies get on board with that. So, I won't often say go and buy a Ubisoft game instead of pirating it. But if them doing this leads to more numbers and see money coming in, hopefully it means they'll do this from the start next time. So, I'm not supposed to go and spend money on Ubisoft, but if you was on the fence for whatever reason about something like the Crew Motor Fest, maybe do pick it up. If you've been pirating it, you couldn't pirate it really because it was all online, so it's why you couldn't pirate. But yeah, maybe think about it. Again, if you're not on a full-on boycott on Ubisoft for other reasons, but if you're on the fence with certain other bits, I would say, I don't want to say reward them, but show that taking positive actions has positive consequences.
Yeah, I think that's a nicely balanced way of looking at it, to be honest. Yeah, fair enough.
And whatever you do, don't clip me saying buy Ubisoft games.
Yeah, I'll just edit it so that's the main takeaway plus the name of the podcast.
It's going to be 45 minutes of just Brad saying buy Ubisoft games, buy Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to games I've actually been playing. So first one, I have been playing a roguelike strategy deck builder type thing. Kel surprise.
Bingo.
I've been playing
close to the bingo.
Been playing a game called Slots and Daggers, which is a roulette-based dungeon crawler. And I first saw it and thought, it's going to be another Clover Pit. Because it seems to be always something comes out and then something else comes out that copies it or is close to the idea. And to be more further from the truth, actually, yes, it is a roulette game. But what you kind of do is you're moving along and you come against different enemies. And the roulette is you pick up different like weapons, shields, buffs, debuffs, etc. And you put them into this roulette machine. You spin the roulette machine and you might get a sword, an arrow and a shield. And what it will say is, right, sword will do attack, arrow will do a different attack, and your shield will give you extra shield, like to protect you against your life. And you go, bang, 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 and you get that. But it's where the roulette stuff comes into it, is if you say you get 3 swords in a row, you do critical damage. So you kind of like you get the jackpot in a way. And you can do other things like buffs. You can do things that earn you more money, so you can spend on more upgrades, different types of weapon abilities, different weapons as a whole, different buffs, debuffs, shields, loads of different things. Because as you go, the enemies get more and more difficult to take on. And the interface is really cool. It's just this really simple interface where you've got like your slots at the bottom and then you've got a screen that represents the enemies you're taking on. And it looks like, in many ways, a physical roulette machine with a digital screen going to it, but done as if it was made in a dark fantasy world. And it looks really, really cool. And I played it through, and like I think with a lot of these roguelike deck buildery type games, you first play it and you're like, I don't see where this is going. It's like attack, shield, attack, attack. You're like, right, okay, then I'm getting to a boss. He's overwhelming me, and I've unlocked something. And I would always say with all of these, the first half hour or first few plays you play, you're like, I like it, I like the mechanic, but where am I going with this? And then you get something. They always give you something. You just go, okay, now it clicks. And this has that in abundance. So you unlock a couple of different bits where all of a sudden you could, that boss that was doing you loads of damage, you just take down in an instant when you get the right build. But rather than it being quite passive in terms of you collect things and then you press a button to spin, different weapons have almost like a timing mechanic with them as well. So do you know, like in the Paper Mario games, where you do an attack and then if you press a button at the right time or do a certain action, you can get bonus attack points, or you can defend it. So this has it. So you have, like, if you've got a sword, like a special sword, you'll get a meter that goes up and down and up and down. If you hit it at the right time, that decides how much damage you do with that sword. And you've got another one. If you're using the arrow, you kind of get this target that moves around the screen. And if you stop it at certain body parts, that's the damage you'll do. The damage. If you stop it on the head, you'll do decent damage. Whereas if you stop it main body, you'll do maybe less damage. If you miss, you do no damage. So it's got not every weapon. This is where I really like it. Not every weapon, but enough different weapons have slightly different little mechanics to them that you have to do to earn the damage. So it adds another level to the game, but it's not overdoing it with that for everything. So you can sometimes get 3 normal swords and just do that damage, which I like as well. So you build your deck around, right, what do I want to do? Do I want to make sure I'm buffing up my defenses? So I want to make sure I'm getting shields and these kind of buffs. Do I want to go really attack heavy? Does this work with this? Do you add stuff? Do you take stuff? Do you save your money? Can I get something that earns me loads of extra money? So it's kind of got that Belatro element to it as well. But I'd say this really dark fantasy aesthetic to it that's clearly a game within a game, rather than trying to be, this is now real life and this is the game. You're playing a game like what would be maybe like a physical game within a video game, and it just works really, really well. And as I said, I played it and I wasn't too sure what I'd get from it, knowing that these are now, 10 a penny as like a genre. But this one, really, really good. Really impressed by it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, no, it looks really good. I just looked it up and saw that it sold like 100,000 copies in a week. That's good. Superb.
That's great so for an indie game. Yeah, that's and
amazing.
I mean, I'm surprised it done that much. You know how much this game costs you?
Go on, hit us with it.
Right, you ready for it's on sale, so you got to take this with a pinch of salt as well, okay? Because £4.68 on sale.
Oh, wow. That is superb.
And do you know what? I've played enough of it now that if I didn't pick it up again, I've had the value from it.
Yeah.
I will pick it up again. It's in there with Belatro and games like that now, where I will pick it up and play it a couple of days in a row, or, I just fancy something for 20 minutes. I'll do a run on this. It's in that category now. Always on the Steam Deck. It'll be ready for when I need to play it. And the other one, like Dungeon Crawler and stuff like that. And really, really good. Highly recommended. If you've got Ball X Pit, if you've already bought that, you can get it in a deal. So you'll get it even cheaper. Can't tell you how much that is because I've got both in my library. And it's verified on the Steam Deck and it runs absolutely perfectly.
I'm going to have a look now to see how much you can get it for.
Have you not got those games?
No, not either of them. So yeah, there we go.
Live. It's not live.
Yeah, I will cut this bit out.
No. So you care too much. I'm like, I'll keep it in.
You don't give a shit, do you?
No.
It's £15.90 for 2 of them.
That's not bad.
2. Not bad at all, that is it?
That's not bad, considering that Ball X Pit, I think, was closer to a tenner when it came out.
Yeah, it's
Ball X Pit's $12.99 on its own.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm sure you can do some jiggery pokery because I've just gone to Ball X Pit, and that's available in a bundle with Vampire Survivors. So technically, you can buy the Ball X Pit bundle, get both of those a bit cheaper, and then when you go and get slots and daggers, you'll get that at the bundle price for the Ball X Pit X slots and daggers deal. So jiggery pokery to get 3 absolute bangers of a game.
I know, right?
I know.
Get like several pounds taken off them as well. That's excellent.
Yeah. And you're supporting indies.
Yeah, can't be bad.
No. Talking of supporting indies, are you shocked and flabbergasted, Stu, by the news that Grand Theft Auto 6 has slipped to later in 2026? Are you shocked?
Oh yeah, I haven't been able to sleep for the last couple of days. Yeah, it was crazy.
I saw the news and I was like, oh my God, that's the most shocking thing I've ever saw. I ever did see. I was like, oh my God, get the hanky out.
I know. This off the back of them firing 30 staff who were unionised is like clearly union busting measure.
Yeah, but again, I suppose at least they're not crunching who's left.
I
mean, they probably still are.
We'll see. Yeah.
But before I get on to it, I was going to do 3 games. I'll only do 2 this week. You know, I'll do an extra one next week or something. My advice to indie developers, don't rush to fill that gap. Don't put out a half-baked product just to fill that gap that GTA has left. I would say, on the other hand, if you was rushing to get your game out for February, March, whatever, just to beat that GTA hype cycle, take the extra couple of months and put your game back. I can never get this right. Do you put it back to go to May? So if you was out in February, you go back, wouldn't you?
Yes, yeah. Push it back.
Push your date back a bit and come out in that window. Don't, if you was November, rush to get it out in the May window because you're going to put out a broken product or a rushed product. Your audience for most indies is not going to... I honestly don't believe it's going to be affected by GTA 6. Because I don't see a world where the millions upon millions who are buying GTA 6 would suddenly transfer into your indie game. Those who are into your indie game will buy your indie game. You might lose a few sales because of GTA 6 to those who just want to buy a game, but they will still get your game down the line. GTA 6 is not going to affect you as much as what is made out, I don't think, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Because, again, I'm not going to turn around like Slots and Daggers I just spoke about. I'm not going to go, well, I'm not buying that because GTA 6 is out. I'd much rather buy Slots and Daggers. And I know that's me as someone who loves indie games and is fed up with the big budget titles. Doing that because I think next week I want to talk about this in more detail is about the 360 era. That's honestly visual fidelity. That's where we should be aiming at, and put everything else into gameplay, into your engines in terms of what it's doing behind the scenes, making better enemies, better AI, that kind of things. Rather than going for graphical fidelity and making things look realistic. Because I've been playing a whole bunch of 360 games recently, and I'll talk about it next week, as I'll be on it for a good while. But it's don't let GTA's movement really mess with what you're doing as an indie game. Stick to your plan.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, should be seen as grace period, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Just play Hotline Miami, not Hotline Miami. What's the other one that was GTA, like the 2D top-down one?
You're asking the wrong idiot.
Yeah, no, I can't remember what it was called. Whatever. It was good. I enjoyed it at the time, but it's still a bit too GTA for me, and I'm not a GTA fan. As you might tell.
No.
Anyway, do you know what I am a fan of, Stu?
What are you a fan
I feel
of?
like I should say video games. Because it really sounded like a full-on segue coming. Detective games. I love a good detective game.
Well, you do.
Like The Case of the Golden Isle. I can't even say the name. The Case and the Rise of the Golden Idol, I think, are 2 of the best detective games I've ever played. And there's a game that doesn't challenge it really, but it's on that level of something just being, this is quite a special game. It's called The Séance of Blake Manor. And it's set in Ireland in the late 19th century. Uh, and do you know what? I'm fed up with this, Stu. Games being set in late 19th century Ireland. It's just, can we just do something different?
I know, right?
I know.
Bloody hell. Creatively bankrupt.
Modern day LA, please. We don't see enough of that. And, yeah, basically, you're a detective, an inspector who goes to a manor, the aforementioned Blake Manor, after the disappearance of a woman called Evelyn Deanne. And you go there, and there's an event happening there. You speak to people. Basically, you've got to uncover what's happened to Evelyn. And you speak to all these different characters, and you ask them questions, you investigate clues, you try and put together these little puzzle elements to it, and you've then got to decipher what happens. And the reason I mentioned Case of the Golden Idol and Rise of the Golden Idol was because they have this thing where you investigate, you pick up clues, and then you get a board where you have to put your answers into slots. And this has that thing to it, which is why I think it follows on from them in many ways. So you go do your investigation. This is like the early part, so I really don't want to tell you about what it does further in the game because you've got to play this. You don't want it spoiled. And you put your you put your answers in the slot after looking around and asking questions, investigating different rooms, looking for clues, doing mini little puzzles. You go, so and so did this and this happened, and now this is why I am here. But what this has with it is a really interesting time constraint mechanic. So it's not, you have an hour from arrival to essentially complete the first part of the case. And if you don't, you hit a fail state, which is, you just go back, you'll either load your last save or you can start again. And it's a really interesting mechanic because instead of just being you've got an hour and the clock is constantly ticking down, it's based on what every new action you take costs a minute. So you walk in and open the door and you investigate. First thing you walk in, there's like a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern. And you go, jack-o'-lantern, let's have a look at that. That costs a minute of time. You go in, you talk to the person who runs the manor, because it's a hotel rather than like someone's own personal residence. So you go in and speak to the person on the desk. That costs a minute. Every question you ask him costs a minute. And you've got to get the answer for that first bit by the top of the hour. If you don't, you find no reason to be there. And the game basically says, no one survived. There's your intrigue. What do you mean no one survived? Was I meant to be saving people? What? I'm going back and checking this again. I'm back in. Obviously, you want to go back in because you want to complete the game. But it's like, this really, really does sort of like bring it home as to this is a very interesting concept. So you go in and you do all that, and then each time you play, you're armed with knowledge. You can go in and go, right, I can do this, this, and this. Don't actually need to bother with it. So I can save 3 minutes by not doing this. Or I know I can go direct to this, so I haven't got to waste 5 minutes of my allotted time working out how to get here. I now know this. So it's very roguelite-ish in a way without actually being a roguelite in itself. And visually, it's really good. It's first person, but it's that very flat and 2D animated in a way. It's really, really clever. The art style is absolutely stupendous in this. It's a very clever game. It's the voice acting is done really, really well. It takes itself very seriously in the right way. It's not like hammy with it. It's just done so well. It's like playing a live mystery novel. Such is the writing within the game. And I'm coming to the end fairly soon, I think. But so far, this is right up there as a late entry into sort of Game of the Year discussions. It is that damn good in terms of a mystery game. And again, another one I cannot recommend enough.
Yeah, that looks really good. It's got a gorgeous look to it.
Yeah.
Like fantastically drawn, heavy contrast, comic book style. Looks sort of leaning towards the Mike Mignola kind of look.
Yes.
The guy,
Yes.
did Hellboy. Yeah, it looks fantastic, and that sounds like a really clever idea as well. I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, and again, the idea of a time constraint usually is something that I just go, in a detective game, are you sure? But the way it's done is really good. So you could ask a question and then you could sit there for 5 minutes of your own personal time pondering it, but only a minute's passed in world. So it's really clever in how it respects your time as well as your time within the game as well. And it's just little things like that. They could quite easily have just put, right, you've got an hour of real world time to get in there and get this done. And I don't think that would work. So the mechanic they put in just works really, really well. Where it goes after this, I don't know. Is this a one and done? Can they turn this into a little mini series? Because I want more of this. I'm playing it, I said I'm near the end. And my first thought is, what's next? Where's the next story?
Excellent. No higher praise than that, really.
Well, it could win our game of the year. That'd be higher praise. It's not going to. Spoilers. But I say I've got one game that's my game of the year, and everything else is like fighting for joint seconds. So if that's been the year we've had, I think we are talking. We're on like a 1998 style year here. I think
it's doing pretty bloody well, I have to say. Yeah. It's going to be a challenge doing the top 10 at the end of the year, but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about them. But yeah, no, this is absolutely outstanding. And yeah, just the cover again with indie games. The cream of the crop are the cream of the crop. You've made it at home coffee, but still out of a decent machine games are also fantastic. But we're also at the point where even your instants are really, really good in the indie scene at the moment. The creativity, even the copy and pastes in many ways are still really good. They're really fun. They're really well made. The asset flips don't really stand a chance anymore. We had a period in the mid 2000s to late 2010s where asset flips were dominating Steam, and that's all everyone could see. They're there, but they're quickly getting pushed down just by people going, actually, these look good. These games are really good. And it's forcing developers who might have tried to maybe quickly make a quick game to earn a quick bit of money are actually having to think about what they're making, actually go, actually, to get this game sold, we're going to actually have to make a solid game. And so even the mid-tier of the year, still really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been like that for the whole time. There's too many of them. I'm just overwhelmed. There's too many to try out, and I can't do it. Even if I had all the money in the world, I haven't got the time to do it. But it's a nice situation to be in, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can't complete a game, don't complete a game. Play it to enjoy it and if you want to move on, move on. If you want to stick to one game a year and finish it all the way through, it's all good. It's all good. If you want to sample the games, sample the games. It's your world. You do as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key theme of this episode.
Yes. Also, I would like to announce that in a few weeks we will be giving out the inaugural MHG Peace Prize.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And who's going to win?
You trumped me.
Have I?
I don't know if you don't fully follow the football, I know that, but I don't know if you've seen the news about FIFA.
Oh, no, when was this?
What's this about? The other day, for the World Cup draw that's coming up soon, FIFA have never done this before, but the president of FIFA, Infantino, is good friends with a certain American president who didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. I wasn't particularly best pleased about it. Because he done that whole, I'm really happy for the winner. I'm really happy. They did tell me that I should have won, but I'm really happy, honestly, kind of thing. But yeah, his good friend Infantino has decided that for the FIFA World Cup draw, they're introducing the FIFA something Peace Prize. And they haven't announced who it's going to yet. With the World Cup being in the United States, Canada and Mexico, they've not announced it. And I'm sure it has nothing to do with pressure from his good friend, American President Donald Trump. Nothing whatsoever.
Jesus.
So,
everything's so bent. It's crazy.
Well, are you suggesting there's corruption in FIFA, Stu?
I know. Unprecedented.
You know, they won't even allow you to cheat in FIFA.
Jesus.
Yeah. I just found that really funny. The inaugural FIFA Peace Prize.
That's pathetic.
I know.
I'm so close to boycotting that bloody World Cup.
Oh, I am.
Just not
it's worse than
it.
Russia.
Yeah.
It's worse than Qatar. It's I might just watch the games that are in like Canada and Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know anymore. It's just Jesus.
Mad world. Mad world.
I know. When you say mad world, I used to think about that song for Gears of War. Now it's just like depressing.
Yep.
And I realised that song wasn't for Gears of War. It's originally a song called Mad World, and it was just done for Gears of War's ad, blah, blah, blah. I know that, but I tell you that this is where I'm at now.
Into the babbling stage, definitely.
I've been babbling since I was born.
True. But, yeah, I think we probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, might be a good idea.
Yeah, so as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you're checking out the content on the website. Join us on Discord to chat, and until next week, stay safe and stay sane.